Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a run through and a breakdown of my best finds and best solds of 2023. Some great sales in here. Kicking off the year with a 3-figure sale, some cheap finds for less than £1 into 50 quid, almost £100 in some instances, and just a great year overall, especially learning still as we go. So we'll start off with the first sale of 2023. So to kick things off, at the start of last year, I sold a Moncler jacket for £250. It's still my best sale to date in terms of value. I paid £7.50 for it, I think on the 7th of December, maybe a bit later in December, but it was definitely December that I picked it up. My girlfriend found it, she gave it to me, she just said, do you think it's real? I couldn't really tell if it was in the shop, but for £7.50, you sort of just take it home. You can do refunds or returns in charity shops, even for straight cash swap or just like a store credit. So I wasn't worried if it was fake, I was going to lose money. But it was real, and yeah, it sold 250 quid. The buyer was happy, left me some positive feedback as well, which is always great. And I mean, what a way to start the year of sales. My next best sale was a Facebook Marketplace pickup that I made, which also featured in a previous video. It was a pair of Hoka 11 sandals. I paid £20 for them. They're brand new in the box. The person only ever just tried them on, and I think what happened is we waited too long to take them back for a return. And they sold for £80 plus shipping. They went GSP to Spain. I think the buyer was about £106 all in or something like that, if I remember rightly. So really happy. He was really happy too. Left me positive feedback, and 20 into 80. I think it lasted about 2 days before they sold, and they sold at the full price of £80 as well. So another great sale to start the year off. 2 days later, after selling the Hoka ones for £80, I had another great sale come through. I picked up 2 really big T-Rex or Jurassic Park dinosaurs off a Facebook Marketplace for £10 each. One was a T-Rex and one was the colossal Indominus Rex. The T-Rex sold later in the year for a tenner, I think. Got my money back on that one. It's not really worth too much, and it took too long to sell. But the Indominus Rex sold for £60 plus postage. It went all the way to, I think it was Czech Republic. The bar was £104, £106 all in. I put the screenshot up here somewhere if I can find it of how much a buyer actually paid for it. And I couldn't believe it went for that much money, and also the buyer paid almost the same on shipping as he did for the item itself just to get there. But I was happy. 10 into 60. I mean, this thing was massive. It's about 1 metre long. I didn't realise sometimes you can take the tail off, so I stuck it in 3 big boxes and sent a 1 metre parcel through, I think it was Parcel Force. Only cost about £9 to ship, which isn't too bad. Also charge a buyer £9.99. So 10 into 60 across the world somewhere else. It made it there safely, and I got positive feedback, so happy days. The next sale that I made was a Pokemon game that I literally just picked up in my most recent card boot video as a cartridge only, but this time that I sold it, it had the box, the manual, everything included. I sold it for £60. Now I got this as part of a Facebook Marketplace bundle deal for 70 quid. There was a Wii, controllers, guitar, a drum kit, a Nintendo DS with DS games, a bunch of Disney Infinity characters, just loads of stuff, and it cost me 70 quid. I think it worked out at about 63 items in total if you look at each individual Disney Infinity character, etc, etc. But just on the whole, it was £70. And from that bundle, I sold the Pokemon Platinum game for £60. And then later in the year, I sold the drum kit for £80. I think the guitar went for about 45. The Wii bundle itself went for about 50 quid. The DS bundle went for £45. So from that bundle, I made a very good return on investment. A lot of the little Disney Infinity characters also just sold throughout the year, like £8, £6, £10 here and there. And then I had a bunch left, went down the card boot and just sold them all in one bundle for 15 quid. Buyer who wanted them didn't even haggle 15 quid because there's about 30 figures left. They just weren't worth my time listing for £3 each and just waiting for that one to sell. So from that 70 quid investment, I think it turned about £300 in revenue, if not profit. I can't remember the math exactly on it, but I'll put the screenshots up around me as I'm talking, just to show you guys what I sold. But that was, and I think has been probably one of my best and my favourite Facebook Marketplace finds and flips of last year. So last year in about April time, I went to one of my first big car boots of the season. The ground was really nice and dry, so lots and lots of sellers there for me to go and buy their goodies from. I made 3 great pickups and they all sold relatively fast as well. I picked up a Logitech Blue Yeti Nano mic for £3 and that sold for 55 quid within about 4 or 5 days of listing. Didn't take too long to sell. I saw the shape of it on the floor that was on this little like mat, just ran over there, ran literally, but went over there really quickly, picked it up. She said £5, I said 3, and she went, yeah, go on, just take it. And it sold 55 quid. And then I bought 2 pairs of shoes off of a different seller. I bought a pair of Hunter wellies for £10 and a pair of Dr. Martin sandals also for £10. The wellies ended up selling for £51 or £48, and then the Dr. Martin sandals either sold for £51 or £40. I can't remember which way around it is. I'll put the screenshots up here to show you that, but £10 each into almost £100 for the 2 of them. Can't complain really, and they didn't take too long to sell either. My next best find came from a charity shop in a place called Mara Zion. I go down on holiday with my family quite a lot, but pretty much every single year. And in a village is this really, really small charity shop. It's full of just, normal household items, nothing really amazing that stands out. But just out the corner of my eye, I saw this pair of sandals, thought they looked cool, picked them up, and they were a pair of Dr. Martin sandals, or Doc Martin sandals. I paid £2.50 for them. I'll try and put a video or a photo up here of the actual shoe with the price tag on them. Couldn't believe they were £2.50. I couldn't actually get much phone service. I didn't actually check how much they were worth, but £2.50, you can't leave them behind. They then sold for £95 plus postage. Some of them have gone for £100 plus, but I think mine were a little bit, of a more used condition than the other ones that I sold previously. But even so, £2.50 into £95. What a bargain. From the same car boot that I bought the wellies, the other pair of Doc Martin sandals and the Logitech mic from, I picked up a pair of Hugo Boss Alex Thompson shorts. I'm not sure if they were racing shorts for yachting or just general shorts, for everyday use. But they're brand new with the tags, had a bunch of Schola, Tech, not entirely sure what it's called, but all these different things and features on the shorts. They were £2, brand new with the tags. I couldn't find anything anywhere on them at all. Only other Alex Thompson racing line stuff like jackets and I think a pair of trousers. I put those shorts up for £100 and they sold for 75 quid. Didn't take too long to sell either. And £2 and 75, I had no idea they'd be worth that much, but it was Hugo Boss, green label, brand new with tags, so I couldn't really leave them behind for £2. And that car boot I think has probably been my most successful in terms of the stuff that I sold. I paid absolute pennies for. If you watch my previous few videos, you would have seen that I picked up quite a lot of Jellycats, around the £1 or £2 mark, and that's exactly what I did last year. I picked up a Jellycat Smudge Hippo for £2, and that sold for £82 on bids. Some comps had gone for as high as 150 quid, but my tags had been cut on my Hippo, so it didn't achieve the highest price that it could have done, but even so, £2 into 82, absolutely amazing flip, and it was in a charity shop that usually charges loads of money for absolute rubbish. And then my next best Jellycat flip to date, I reckon, in terms of return on investment, I picked up a Jellycat Millie Boo Bunny. I paid 5p for it in its little bin. I'll put the photo up here that I've got of the actual bin itself with the Jellycat in it. And someone on my Instagram called Flip Pickles, she helped me identify the Jellycat itself so I could then find the value of it. It then sold for £50 plus postage to America to collect. She'd really been after this bunny for ages apparently. £73 all in through GSP, 5p into 50 quid. I can't remember the return on investment, but I think it's in the thousands. And I just couldn't believe it was just sat in a 5p bin and it sold for 50 quid. That was the price I listed at as well, so not even any haggling going on. It just sold at full price. So on those two Jellycats alone, £2 and 5p into £152. Can't go wrong. Another great flip from last year. In the same charity shop I got the 5p Jellycat from. It's usually a really cheap shop. I picked up one of those little Pokeball Joy-Cons that you get for Pokemon Go on the Nintendo Switch. I paid 50p for it, and that sold for £35 within about 2 days of listing. Didn't take too long to sell. Had the box of it, all the papers and the strap, which I think added the value to it a bit more than just it being on its own. But even so, it still would have sold for £25, £30. So 50p into 35 quid. What a deal. Now, in my time as a reseller, I haven't really come across any vintage, designer, Gucci, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, the only good thing that I've picked up before has been the Moncler jacket. But not so long ago in the summer last year, I picked up a Gucci little purse sort of looking thing. I had no idea if it was real. It was only £6. The woman in the shop sort of knows that I resell. She ran at the back, came in and just put this thing in the glass cabinet by the counter. Instantly piqued my interest. I walked over, bought it straight away. Went home, messaged the luxury pickers over on Instagram. They authenticated it for me, and it turned out as a gift with purchase from around the 80s or 90s. So you would have bought a bag as a full line value bag and had that given to you for buying the bag. But because of that time, everything that was not a brand new high-end retail item was made with such detail and intricacy that it was almost like a full value high-end item. it had loads of damage. It needed recobbling, the leather was peeling, everything needed redoing. But even so, at £6, it sold for 60 quid within about 2 weeks of listing. So I had vintage Gucci pass through my hands for the very first time, and it was a nice piece to be able to actually have and pass on to someone and give them a project to try and fix it. Another great find last year at the car boots were these 2 Waiting for Ultra Nintendo 64 t-shirts that I picked up for £1 each. They still had the original bag. The guy had about 40 of them in this box, and in hindsight I should have just bought them all, because the 2 that I had sold for just under £100 together to the same buyer. He's a collector, had a shop in America, and he wanted a good deal to basically cut out on shipping and tax and all that sort of stuff, which I was more than happy to let him get a great deal. They had over £100 each, so technically he got both of them for the price of one, but even so, I only paid £1 each, so had I bought all of them, who knows, I could have had a great investment there. But for £1 each, into just under £100, happy with that one. Now, across both eBay and Vinted, I sold 2 of the same things. I picked up these t-shirts by a brand called Palace. They're a skate brand based in London, sort of like Supreme. I paid £8 each for 3 t-shirts, brand new without the tags. Unfortunately, didn't have tags with them. I sold one on eBay for 60 quid, one on Vinted for £50, and then the third one I sold on the Whatnot stream for £14 or £50, I believe. But even so, just on the other 2 that I sold, £110 off of a £16 investment. Absolutely amazing, and Palace does hold its value pretty well. I've never seen a t-shirt before. I think I saw some comps brand new for about $180, which I knew I wasn't going to achieve. But even so, 15, 60 quid respectively, absolutely amazing. So not long after selling the Palace t-shirt on eBay, I sold a Nike Tech Fleece tracksuit for £84. I picked up on Vinted for around £18, £20, I believe. And it sold £84 plus postage. I think it went to either Finland or Denmark. I can't remember which one it went to. Bars about £110 all in, I think, with the GSP shipping and taxes. So £20-ish into 84. Amazing flip. I said I'll try and find the screenshot of what I paid and put it up here, because I'm sure I put it on an Instagram story somewhere. But yeah, Tech Fleece do sell really well. So if you can get them for the sort of £20, £30 mark, definitely pick them up. And they do sell very well in the pre-owned market. During the summer last year, I made another triple figure sale. I picked up a Berghaus Mirror Peak Gore-Tex XCR jacket for only £10 from a charity shop. Just sat out the back. I was purchasing another item and I saw it sat there, and I just asked how much. She said it needed to be steamed. I said, don't worry about the steaming, can I just buy it now? It only charged me a tenner. It sold for £115 within about a week and a half of purchasing. So you can't really complain. £10 into over 100. I think it works out about £70 profit after fees. And Berghaus Gore-Tex jackets on their own do sell quite well. I've sold quite a few in the £40 to £60 range. I'll try and put some screenshots up here if I have any of what I've sold before. But this is a Mirror Peak Gore-Tex. Mirror Peak is at the top range of Berghaus Gore-Tex jackets. It's a really nice blue colour, and £10 into 150 quid. You can't go wrong with that. Probably one of my coolest finds I think I've ever found. Not actually me found technically. My girlfriend found it at a car boot. It was a rainy Sunday morning. Wasn't loads of people, but there was enough people to make it worth our time. She walked into a store that everybody had gone past before, and on the floor was a vintage liquid blue all over print t-shirt. Had a massive skull on the front and the back. Only 50p. I couldn't believe it was 50p. My girlfriend couldn't believe it was only 50p. It ended up selling for 50 quid. Now, I might be able to push a bit more for it, but I only paid 50p for it. So 50p into 50 quid, more than happy to let it go for that much. And it didn't take too long to sell. I picked up on the Sunday. I think it sold on the Wednesday. So absolutely amazing find. Again, by my girlfriend, who does obviously help me do this sort of stuff, and I think she enjoys it too. But 50p into 50 quid, you can't complain. And on the same day that I sold that t-shirt for 50 quid, I sold an AMI Paris hoodie for £90. I paid £7 for it at a charity shop not too long before, and it sold 90 quid. Out in GSP to Denmark. I think it went, I always get confused which country it goes to, but it definitely went GSP to some Scandinavian country. I think the bar's about £120 all in. It came in within about 10 minutes of each other as well, the sales. £7 into 90 quid. I picked it up in a charity shop that usually charges so much for basically rubbish clothing, to be honest. So to find that was 7 quid and then sell it for 90, I was extremely happy that day. 140 quid within about 10 minutes of each other. Spot on. So my next best sales technically were 2 little things, but they're basically the same. I sold 2 cruise ship models. I paid £4 for one of them. It was a resin model. That sold for £55. I think it was MSC Azura. I believe I put the screenshot up here. It was just sat there on the shelf in the charity shop. I sort of had an idea that some model boats can be worth quite a lot of money, but I didn't realise they were worth that much. So that was the first one of £4 into 55 quid. The second one was also a little model cruise ship, but this time it was like a die-cast metal. That one was of MSC Magnifica, I think it is. I paid £6.95 for that one, and that sold for £60 all in, not long, just before Christmas. I think someone might have bought it as a gift for, you know, family, friend, parent, themselves, who knows. But model ships are definitely a good thing to be on the lookout for, and they usually hold quite a good value because you can only buy them on the ship at a time. So for £4 into 55, 7 into 60, you can't go wrong with those ones. Now, although I had some other really good sales, I want to end on the best marketplace pickup I've made in terms of price per item and the value of these items. I paid £70 for 51 Funko Pops and about 20 or so Five Nights at Freddy's figures. Now, these Five Nights at Freddy's figures consisted of the big, like 5 to 6 inch ones, and little keychains, little other just like, I think called heroes or special edition heroes, where they come on a little base plate. They're not worth too much, but even so, the Funko Pop value at £1 each or less than £1 each, and the Five Nights at Freddy's, I was more than happy to pick them up, and it didn't take too long to start shifting. As this pickup was just before Christmas, the Funko Pop started flying out left, right and centre, £5, £6, £10 here, bundles left, right and centre. Got to a bit of a time where I had some left over, and I sold the rest of them on a Whatnot show just to get rid of them because I'd made more than enough profit and money back for my £50 investment on just the Funko Pops alone. The best sales come from the Five Nights at Freddy's figures. The best sale, I sold Nightmare Springtrap for £70, and in the same day, Nightmarion, I can't remember how you say it, for £40. As I said, I paid just less than £1 a piece because it worked out at about 70 items or 72 items for 70 quid. I think that's the way around it was. So £70, £40 in the same day on just under £2. More than happy with that. I sold the Chica for £35. I think the Bonnie went on the Whatnot stream for £24. I sold another Chica for 20 quid, a Foxy for £20, another Foxy for £18, Freddy for £9 or something, another Freddy for £13, £14. And I said the Funko Pops just sort of gradually took their time, £5, £6 here and there, and then sold the rest off on a Whatnot stream. But that was such a good find, and I couldn't believe it. £70 for one figure. So what a way to end 2023 and my best solds of last year. So thank you very much for watching today's video. As I do the outro, I'll just put some screenshots around of honourable mentions of sales that I made that were really good in terms of value, but I just didn't think were very cool to include in the video. But nonetheless, they were really good sales. Let me know your best sale from last year or your best find, either for an item you sold or an item you kept yourself, or maybe it hasn't sold yet, you're looking for the right buyer. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think was the best find and best sold from this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.